Hello everybody, Adam Jaszczorski here to give you a quick rundown of the BHN Math box plot tool. The purpose of this tool is to allow you to quickly and easily create box plot diagrams for your learning resources, such as for your handouts or assessments or videos or whatever you like. To use this tool, you have to have GeoGebra Classic 5 installed on your computer. You can get that for free at the geogebra.org website. Just make sure you download the Classic 5 version. And you can download the box plot tool file from the bhnmath.ca website. Once downloaded, double-click that file and it'll open the box plot tool in GeoGebra Classic 5, which looks like this. Notice this interface looks quite similar to that of the BHN Math graph tool, so if you've used that before, this should feel quite familiar. We actually have two windows here, and I'll separate them. I'll put the settings window on the left and the box plot window on the right. And I can make adjustments to this box plot by dragging the little red points. Now the purpose of this tool is to allow you to quickly and easily create a box plot diagram that looks the way you need it to right away. It is not intended to take a set of data and create a box plot from that data. If you're interested in doing that, check out the Single Variable Data Analyzer applet on the BHN Math website. Over here in the settings window, we can make several adjustments to the appearance of our box plot. For example, say I want the axis to go from a value of 20 through a value of 60. I can input those values here, and there we go. I can click these little arrow buttons to show or hide arrows at the end of the axis. Here I can choose to show or hide the axis, and I can choose the increment used for the grid lines. Right now it's set for an increment of 1. And we can see that we have a grid line every 1, although we don't see a number on every grid line. The reason for that is because it would be too cluttered. If I want to see those values, I need to stretch this out a bit and then I can see them. However, I'd like to keep things compact, so I'll move this back and change this increment value to 2. Now we can see that we're using an increment of 2. Here I can choose to show or hide those numbers on the axis, and I can choose the frequency at which those numbers are shown. Selecting 1 places a number on every grid line. If I change that to 2, I see a number every second grid line. I can also input a custom value here if I want. I can choose to show or hide the ticks on the axis, and I can choose whether those ticks show on every grid line or just the grid lines that have a number. Here I can show or hide a label, and I can customize that label here as needed. In this section, I can make adjustments to the grid. I can show or hide the grid here, and I can choose whether the grid lines are solid or dashed. I can also choose to show or hide the horizontal grid lines. I can adjust the thickness of the grid lines here, and their shade here. The thickness of the axis can be adjusted over here, and its shade can be adjusted here. I can use the padding sliders to make final adjustments to the image before it's exported. This is useful if something's getting cut off or not showing quite right. Up in this section, I can choose to add a second box plot, which can be adjusted the same way as the first one. This is useful for comparing two different box plots. Once I'm ready to export an image of my diagram to the clipboard, I'll hide the adjustment points. I'm also going to hide the grid. I can then click one of these buttons to choose whether the image has a transparent background or a white background. Clicking the button copies the image to the clipboard, and it can then be pasted as desired.